Hey guys, welcome to my channel once again. Today we have come to have an overview about marriage. Here with me is my lovely husband. Please, can you introduce yourself to my audience?
My name is Uba Anyanka, the husband to this lovely lady here, Mrs. Ugochi Stella Anyanka.
Thank you guys for coming to our channel this moment. Welcome. So today we are going to look at marriage. Different definitions of marriage. Marriage in a typical African setting, what it entails, and by the end of our discussions today, you will be able to understand who actually enters into marriage and what is expected of us in that journey. Thank you. Bye, you have the house.
Marriage, according to the scripture, is the coming together of a male and a female adult for the purpose of companionship, mutual love, and procreation. In different settings, like in our African setting, marriage is a way of life that helps generations to evolve from one generation to another. However, in a situation that marriage can be contracted in a way that this love that we are talking about could be sustained, requires some steps. Because if you don't follow the right step, you will make some mistakes. In what we are going to talk about, we are going to look at those factors you will consider before entering into marriage. The fact that you are matured does not only mean in terms of age. There are other factors that help to make sure that you are already matured to enter into marriage, which could be emotional, financial, and otherwise. Age is not only the factor that will encourage or entail that you have matured to get married. So many clients look at age as a major issue. But today, we are going to look at other influences that can bring about a successful and enduring marriage. I would like you to make one contribution as a co-coordinator and contributor in this life-changing activity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So far, you have really given us a very wonderful startup. Yeah. What are these factors that we are looking at? The first one is maturity. And the maturity we are looking at here, just as my husband rightly said, is not just age. I have seen a young lady of 20 that acted quite better than a young lady of 25 in marriage. We have had series of marriages we nurtured, over 20 of them. these marriages, we have seen the highs and the lows in their various unions. So what am I trying to say? I want to say that age does not only suggest maturity in marriage, but the readiness to accept the ups and downs. That's where the maturity we are talking about comes. Because there are people who are already endowed by nature to act maturely in every aspect of life. Yes, there are people like that. And I also believe I am one of them, because the maturity I exhibited in my own marriage has given me that as a factor. You have the audience.
Okay, talking about maturity, I talked about emotional maturity. Emotional maturity entails that you will be ready to accept and be ready to tolerate, accommodate, and be effective in your communications within marriage. There's something someone needs to know about marriage. The way you look at marriage from your upbringing and background also matters. It could affect your relationship, the sustainability of it, and otherwise. Let's take, for instance, somebody that takes marriage as a project. That person would look at it from the angle of, I have to plan, I have to nurture, I have to build before you'll be able to have a sustainable, enduring, and a happy marriage. In that wise, taking marriage as a project would also assist you to make sure that your marriage will be a success. But for those that see marriage as a necessity, something that must be done, they may not consider this aspect of seeing marriage as a project. Rather, they will see it as something that must be done. And by so doing, they will enter, jump in and jump out, because they didn't understand, they didn't plan, they didn't take the necessary steps that is required to have a successful, peaceful, and enduring marriage. Secondly, there are people that may have a background that suggests that they don't have marriage. If you're coming from a background of non-marriage, stable marriage, unstable marriage, or a failed marriage, your concept and perception about marriage will be different from one another. Let's look at somebody that is coming from a broken home, a place that there is no father or a mother. That person will have a different view about what marriage is all about. And entering into marriage, there are certain areas of life that that person may not have encountered. And this will enable or push that person to take some decisions in marriage that will be disastrous. Somebody coming from a very stable marriage would also have a different perception about how marriage would work. If you are coming out from a failed family or a failed marriage, it will also have effect on your marriage. I know that there are other factors that would make marriages not to work effectively as you have planned and as you are going to execute it. But I believe that seeing marriage as a project, as something that should be planned before being executed, is one factor that is very necessary before contracting a marriage.
Yeah, thank you so much. There is one aspect I want to talk about. You see, this aspect of infatuation. Do you know that it has ruined so many homes? You see somebody, and because she's looking beautiful, she has fine legs. If you see her smile, you just fall in love with somebody without really understanding who you are going in with, it has really ruined a lot. You remember one of your friends in those days that would tell you, oh, I like that lady has fine legs. Do you think that if he had continued in one of those relationships that time, he would have succeeded? He wouldn't have succeeded.
And that is why we look at the aspect of going into marriage due to lust for material things. It could be the lust for the beauty of the lady, or lust for the finances of the man, or even the lady. Because sometimes when you see a family that is wealthy, you want to enter into marriage to see if you can get something out of it. If eventually nothing comes from there, that marriage is already heading to disastrous end. So that is why engaging or contracting marriage on these material needs or material ends will always end in a disastrous way. And that is where you are coming from, looking at the ephemeral things, those things that do not matter, instead of considering the core value of marriage, which is love and respect. I know that even in the scripture, we have been enjoined as men to love our wives as Christ loved his church, and for the women to be submissive and respectful to their husband. These are the core values that will make sure and ensure that marriages will work effectively. There are other things that will make marriages work. We will talk about that later.
Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. I believe you got value from this little conversation we have had. This is just the beginning. We're going to go through different steps, different tips that could make your marriages work, just as ours have worked for these 26 years now, counting. So, if you're just new to this channel, I join you to press the subscribe button, like and share, so that we can reach out to as many as people who would benefit from the little moment we'll share with us. God bless us.
God bless you.